All right, all right. Good morning. It's 6:18 on a Sunday. Is it really though? Doesn't it feel more like 7:18? Kinda. I've been up for a while. Anyway, it's been raining outside. It's so beautiful. Sounds great. I think it just ended and probably will have ended for a while. But here in western Iowa, we do have periods of rain coming, but not like some other parts of the country. Just this active pattern is really, really fun. Also, shout out to Paul. Thanks for the comment. And Paul is here in Iowa and he watches usually around noontime. I think I'm going to keep my schedule the same right now, partly because it fits my schedule, but I don't want to go too late in the day and miss Paul. And again, if you could tell me when you watch and where you're from, that would be super helpful. All right, checking out the hazards for today, and there are a lot of them. So the pattern is, storm Pacific Northwest, dive into the Four Corners, eject into the plains. So that's happening now, the ejecting into the plains. And we have another one behind it, dive into the Four Corners, eject into the plains. And it's bringing some really active weather, except for the eastern third of the country. So, looking up in the Pacific Northwest, we've got winter storm watches up there for lots of areas, all the way in Idaho, Montana, Washington State, along with some wind issues, high wind watches. There, you get down into Nevada, California, wind advisories, so be advised there's going to be wind. Some red flag warnings there as well, and some freeze watches. As a big trough in the west that's going to bring that cold air from the north all the way down into California. We also have some, was that winter weather advisories for parts of Arizona, also up into Utah and Colorado and Wyoming and into Montana. And then you get into New Mexico, and we've got winter storm watches for the northern part of the state. And then for the eastern part of the state, what color is that? Dense fog advisory, along with that rain that they got yesterday. So there's even a flood warning for, looks like, parts of Chaves County. And then you get into the plains. We've got some fog for Nebraska, into parts of Kansas, and then lots of flooding issues from North Texas into Oklahoma, into Kansas, into Missouri. And then also in the yellow, excuse me, tornado watch in effect. We're going to show you that here in a second. And severe thunderstorm warning issued for the northeastern part of Arkansas, the Fayetteville area. And that brings us to today's weather spotlight, spotlight, spotlight. We're going to go live to the interwebs. And let's see if I can click on this blind. Here we go. Here's your tornado watch through 9 a.m. This is out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And there's Fayetteville now, part of the tornado watch, all the way down into almost Fort Smith, all the way into Oklahoma. A few tornadoes, large hail, 70-mile-an-hour winds. Also, the flooding rains. So we have flood watches here for much of eastern Oklahoma into northwestern Arkansas, including Fort Smith and Fayetteville, back to Muskogee. You could be an Okie from Muskogee and be in a flash flood watch. Also Tulsa. All right, severe storms for today. Here's your severe weather threat, and we'll show the larger map for this coming up. But yeah, there's a chance for some big hail here, some gusty, damaging winds perhaps. And the tornado potential is not zero. Then you get into Monday, another round of severe weather, and this is an enhanced area, so this is even more dangerous as you get into tomorrow and a bigger area of also the slight risk. So very active for the folks in eastern Oklahoma, western Arkansas. And here is today's surface map as we jump into the forecast now. And here's our big trough in the west, and then storms ejecting into the plains. And that's what we have on the map here. So lots of wintry type weather, Pacific Northwest into the Intermountain West, into the Four Corners. And then in the plains, it's scattered showers and storms with heavy rainfall possible, Texas into Oklahoma, into Arkansas and Missouri, and severe weather possible, Texas into Oklahoma, and a little bit of Arkansas as we saw. And then the eastern part of the country, kind of quiet. Severe weather looks like this. And again, that bullseye, kind of Oklahoma City, but getting into Tulsa, getting into eastern Oklahoma, a lot of North Texas, getting into West Texas. So Abilene, Wichita Falls, you're included in this, in the slight risk. Big D, well, north of Big D, um, places like Sherman, as you get into Oklahoma, that's the slight risk. But the marginal risk goes all the way into Nebraska and all the way into western Louisiana. So yeah, there's a chance for severe weather out there in the dark green and in the yellow. And here's your tornado risk: North Texas, back into West Texas, Oklahoma City. That's where the 5% is. It ends right at Tulsa, but the 2% goes into western Kansas, all the way down into parts of Louisiana and Arkansas as well. Whew, man, that's a lot. And we're just tomorrow's the same. All right. Temperature anomalies today: warmer in the plains than average, a little bit. Warmer than that, southeastern part of the country, and also when you get up into Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, and cooler west and slightly cooler east. Those highs look like this: 40s, 50s for the west coast. Inland, it's more 30s and 40s. And then you get into California, some 60s, Central California, 70s for the desert southwest. In the plains, a lot of 70s transitioning into 60s. Here in Iowa, 50s. You get up into Minnesota, the Dakotas, Wisconsin, UP of Michigan, there's some 40s, even a few 30s. And then same with the Northeast, some 40s, even a few 30s. Low temperatures tomorrow morning. It's cold out west. And again, all the way into California with some freeze watches there, and all the way down into, the middle part of Arizona. Of course, that's where the elevation starts, and into New Mexico too. So just cold west and warm east, except for the Northeast, 20s here, as you would expect this time of year. Surface for tomorrow. So, yeah, as that storm system ejects into the plains, it's not moving a whole lot. So, we're still got severe thunderstorms still possible a little further east. Texas, into Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Missouri, and the heavy rainfall just a little bit further east. Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Illinois, eastern Iowa, into Wisconsin, even up there in like Traverse City, Michigan. So, and then a large area of just scattered showers and storms. A little bit more rain now for the southeast tomorrow, and a little bit more rain and snow for the northeast tomorrow. And our next big storm moving into the Pacific Northwest, heavy snow for the Cascades of Washington, into the mountains of Idaho, into Montana, and even southern Colorado, heavy snowfall. And even yesterday, well, we'll show you that here in a second. I'll talk about that when we get to that map. Severe for tomorrow. Yeah, here's our enhanced risk for eastern Oklahoma, western Arkansas, northeastern Texas, into parts of Missouri. So just a really good chance of severe weather here and some tornadoes. Well, that's our next map. And then the slight risk is well expanded into, Austin, Big D, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, into central Missouri, and even your marginal risk goes all the way down into Houston, San Antonio, and all the way up into almost Dubuque, Iowa, and central Illinois. So a big area of severe storms possible tomorrow, including tornadoes. We have a 10% hatch risk. So again, the hatch means potential for some large tornadoes, North Texas into eastern Oklahoma, a little bit of western Arkansas, and even the 5% risk is expanded from there, and the 2% risk expanded from there. So tomorrow's tornado risk looks, if you're in that area, just have a couple ways to get severe warnings and pay attention just in case. Tomorrow's temperatures, well, getting colder in the Four Corners as that trough digs into the west, and getting warmer in the Midwest and Great Lakes, and even for East Texas into the southeast. Those highs look like this. I mean, we're talking 40s to barely 50 for much of New Mexico, much of Arizona. And then, of course, in the Rockies, you got 30s with elevation, even colder than that. Still 50s along the Oregon and Washington coast, and a little bit inland, but more 40s as you go inland. California, still looking at 60s, maybe 70 for Central California, and 70s for the desert Southwest. A lot of 70s return to Texas, even a few 80s. Same for Louisiana and Mississippi, some 80s, and then 70s and 60s as you head north, of course. And the Northeast still on the cool side. When you get way up into northern New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, some 40s scattered in there. All right, your 2-day precipitation is just massive. Just massive for eastern Oklahoma, northwestern Arkansas, really almost the western half of Arkansas, getting into southern Missouri. We're talking 4, 6, approaching 8 inches for some here. So that can cause, you get that much rain in under 2 days, and that can cause some flooding. So that's why those flood watches are up. And then you expand out from there. East Texas, North Texas, still widespread, up to 2 inches or 3, depending. Same for Missouri, same for western Illinois, same for eastern Iowa into southern Wisconsin. Again, 2-3 inches of rain possible, even into northwestern Michigan. And then you get into the Pacific Northwest, heavy precipitation for the Olympic Mountains, for the northern Cascades, a little lighter as you get into Oregon and inland, and a lot of that's going to fall as snow. So northern Washington Cascades, 2 feet easy, maybe approaching 3. Lesser amounts for the Oregon Cascades. However, overnight last night, I got a report. I saw it on Facebook, I think. It wasn't like it was sent to me, but I saw where Mount Hood Meadows, which is the base of Mount Hood, they had 10 inches of snow. And Mount Hood Meadows is only about 5,000 feet. I think it's the lowest elevation ski resort in North America. Because growing up in Oregon, our house was at 50 feet above sea level. And so it would rain, but, you could drive a half hour and be up to your chest in snow. So it's like, they get a lot of snow, 33,000 feet up. Anyway, I digress. Heavy snow possible, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, especially Colorado, parts of Utah, even into, Nevada, some scattered snow here, and down to the Mogollon Rim of Arizona and the mountains of western and northern New Mexico. All right, getting into Tuesday with the surface. There's our big storm for the Pacific Northwest, heavy snow moving inland, Montana, Idaho, regular snow for Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, Washington, and a mix all the way around that. Our scattered showers and storms moves inches a little bit further east. So scattered storms, East Texas, all the way through South Carolina, and the scattered storms all the way up through Michigan. Looks like more rain returning to Iowa, and that certainly is our forecast. Highs on Tuesday. I think I loaded up Tuesday here. No, this is Sunday. Anyway, backing up, let's go through the GFS. Now that I got caught not paying attention. All right, GFS time. Here we go. That's it. All right, let's get backed up to today and this morning. And then we already showed you the radar here. And the computer model has it about right. Heavy rain, Oklahoma, Kansas, into Missouri, into Arkansas, and moving throughout the day, moving northward into parts of Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, and then more storms developing back into Oklahoma. So just craziness. Big area of, our trough digging into the west, and so we have scattered snow showers all over the place here. This is Sunday, 15Z. So with the time change, is that -6 now? So this would be 9 o'clock Sunday morning. That's this morning. Oh, yeah, that's right now, almost. All right, as we go through the day, I don't know if I did the math right there. As we go through the day, scattered storms for the Dakotas, maybe more coffee, then I can do some more math. Wisconsin getting soaked. 21Z, -6 is 15, -12 is 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Central Time. That's probably about right. Scattered showers and storms, heavy rain, Oklahoma, North Texas. You get the idea. Some rain down here in southern Arizona, but snow for elevation all the way up into the Rockies and the Intermountain West, all the way back into Washington State. And, we have this pattern: storms moving in the northwest, trough in the west, ejecting into the plains, severe weather here, and heavy rainfall. And just round after round. This is almost to tomorrow morning. This is midnight tonight. This is early Monday morning. Look at that heavy rain from Missouri into Illinois, moving into Michigan. Another round busting out. Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, broken record. Missouri, snow. Back here for New Mexico, up into southeastern Colorado, northeastern New Mexico. And another big system moving into the northwest. I wonder if that's going to dive south. It's certainly moving east. Heavy snow moving through parts of Idaho into Montana. As we get into, this is Monday night, tomorrow night, heavy rainfall from parts of Iowa. Let me back that up. Yeah, southern Iowa, very heavy rain moving into central and eastern Iowa. As we get into late tomorrow, heavy rain still, Missouri, back into Oklahoma. It's broken record, just round after round of heavy rainfall here. And then another area of rain busting out for Iowa Tuesday morning. Snow back in the northwest, moving into the northern Rockies. Will that move into the plains? Well, a little bit. The plains of Montana as we get into midnight Tuesday night. And look at this, a little bit of rain making its way east as we get into Tuesday night. As we get into Wednesday morning, our storm system diving into the central Rockies. A little bit of snow for western Nebraska now. This is Wednesday, about noontime. And that kind of turns back into rain as it gets closer to eastern Nebraska and fizzles out just before it gets to my house here in western Iowa. No fair. All right, Thursday morning, snow back in Colorado, New Mexico. Rain again for Texas into Arkansas as we get towards the weekend. And then we have, I don't know if this will be a hurricane or a tropical storm. It keeps showing back up in these model runs, the GFS. We'll just watch for a tropical system perhaps for Florida as we get in, a week from now. It's only 4 days actually away. So we'll keep an eye on that. Maybe a tropical system for Florida, but this keeps it off the coast. Meanwhile, heavy rain, heavy snow. This is going to park here for a few days. Let me back up, because as this system dives into Colorado, it's just going to sit here, and it's going to rain, and it's going to rain for Oklahoma, for Texas, another round for Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, before it finally lifts on the 9th. Snow back in Colorado, heavy rain out ahead of it for Missouri and Iowa, South Dakota. So it's just round after round after round. I mean, we sat here all through the month of October with nothing going on. And now we can't stop the rain and the snow, especially the rain and the plains, and also into the Midwest. And then we get into Sunday. So remember, your forecast through the weekend, guaranteed, or your time back. So we get into early Sunday, and it's showers now for parts of the Northeast, into the Mid-Atlantic, and then into the Tennessee and Ohio valleys. So they finally get in on some of the action as that rain heads eastward into the Northeast, and another big storm for the Pacific Northwest as we get into the 11th Veterans Day, and snow spreading through the Rockies. Will it get into the plains? Kind of fizzling out, but you see this cold air, how far south it's going. Our 540 line, again, that demarcation between rain and snow. So really cold air moving into the Rockies and into the plains as we get into the 12th. This is Tuesday. So we're getting into the realm of uncertainty here, but you get the idea. A big cold front, perhaps, with some heavy rainfall, maybe some severe weather as that travels into the Midwest and Great Lakes, and then eventually east. And that cold air behind it, moving into the Midwest and the Great Lakes and then east. And I want to take this to the end because our Iowa snow is gone. It's gone. Another system for the West as we get into the 16th. So just really active. Look at this. I didn't notice this before. This is kind of, it's not a nor'easter per se, but it's turning into a strong low off the East Coast. This is getting into the 15th. And so, again, a lot of uncertainty here, but that could be interesting with some wind, rain, and some snow. And then this storm getting south off the California coast. And so, low snow levels for California into Nevada and Oregon with this low again around the 17th. Will this come true? It might. We'll definitely keep an eye on it. And then kind of our blizzard is back for North Dakota, South Dakota around the 18th. So we'll see if that comes true as well. And then that lifts into Canada, and we got some rain out ahead of that, and we're at the end of the run. All right, let's take a look at the anomalous temperatures through the rest of the week. So we're back to Wednesday. And remember, we've got this trough in the west, high pressure in the east, and this certainly depicts that. So cold in the central Rockies into the Four Corners and warm east. And then we get into Thursday, that cold air drops into West Texas, 20, 25 degrees below average as you get into Lubbock, Amarillo, Roswell, New Mexico. And then Friday, that continues southward into the rest of Texas, cooling it off. And Central Plains even. And we'll have a cold front here in western Iowa. Our temperatures will be 1 degree above average, so 50s. And then Saturday, looks like this. Everything starts to wash out and moderate. And so we're getting much closer to average. We have that blob of warm air, though, moving out of Canada into the northern plains. And then that sort of helps warm up the plains and the east. The west is not as cool, below average. So, man, thanks for hanging in there with me. We're 22 minutes in. There's a lot to talk about. So I really appreciate you. We picked up a few more subs in the last few days. The last video was #1 of the last 10. So thank you for that. And we're just going to keep going because I love weather and I like sharing it too. So thanks again. Have a great Sunday. I'm going to record the announcements and get ready and get out of here. You have a great rest of your day. We will see you tomorrow. Lord willing and the creek don't rise, right here on the Weather Mic.